Congratulations. God chose you to hear this before the 24th of October. You may think you just stumbled upon this message by chance, but heaven has no coincidences. Every divine word comes at a divinely appointed time, and this one is arriving right on schedule. God has been watching your journey, the quiet tears, the silent endurance, the moments you wanted to give up, but still whispered a prayer. And now, He is saying, I've seen your faithfulness in the waiting. The hour of release is near. Before this month ends, something will shift that confirms His hand has been on you all along. You were chosen by divine timing, not coincidence, and that truth carries more power than you realize. When God arranges moments, He doesn't do so randomly. He aligns people, seasons, and opportunities to intersect at the exact point of your readiness. What may look accidental to the natural eye is intentional in the spirit. Every delay, every rejection, every closed door was not punishment. It was positioning. God has been orchestrating your steps, even in the moments when you felt lost. You were not late, you were being led. He was hiding you until the right moment so that when He revealed you, no one could take credit but Him. The divine clock has always been ticking in your favor, and now heaven is announcing that your appointed time has come. There were seasons when you wondered if God still saw you. The prayers seemed unanswered, the silence too long, and the path too uncertain. Yet behind the quiet, He was working. Just because you didn't see movement didn't mean nothing was happening. The roots of your destiny were growing deeper beneath the surface, so that when the fruit finally appears, it will be unshakable. Many people misinterpret delay as denial, but God delays what He plans to strengthen. He was not withholding your promise. He was maturing your capacity to handle it. What you thought was waiting was actually preparation. Every moment of disappointment was divine choreography moving you closer to destiny's alignment. Destiny's alignment. You didn't stumble upon this message by chance. The very fact that you are reading these words at this time means heaven scheduled your encounter. God has been whispering to you through signs, through dreams, through inner conviction, preparing your spirit to receive what's next. When divine timing converges with obedience, supernatural acceleration follows. You don't have to chase what's already appointed to find you. The blessings with your name on them are already in motion, guided by unseen hands toward your life. That's why no matter how far behind you feel, you are still on schedule. Heaven does not operate on human calendars. God redeems time for those who walk by faith, and when He moves, years of waiting are restored in moments of grace. Look back on your journey and notice how the pieces connect. The friendships that ended, the doors that closed, the setbacks that humbled you. They were all divine interruptions. Had they not happened, you might have settled for something beneath your calling. Divine timing protects you from premature success. It ensures that when your opportunity arrives, you are not only ready to receive it, but able to sustain it. Will never allow you to step into something that your character cannot carry. That's why He refined you in silence, purified your motives in private, and matured your faith through endurance. Every experience was a seed planted for this season of revelation and reward. When divine timing manifests, it carries a peace that cannot be explained. You'll realize why certain things didn't happen sooner and why certain people couldn't stay. God's timing eliminates confusion because it carries confirmation. Suddenly, what used to worry you will no longer hold power. The waiting will make sense because the blessing will bear evidence of purpose. You'll know that no one could have orchestrated it but God. That is how divine timing works. It proves the sovereignty of heaven and silences the doubt of man. You are walking into a moment written before you were even born, and nothing can delay what heaven has declared over your life. Every delay was preparation for a powerful release, even when it felt like nothing was happening and heaven was silent. What seemed like wasted time was actually sacred time, moments God used to shape your spirit and strengthen your faith. Every not yet from God was never a rejection. It was protection from stepping into something you weren't yet equipped to handle. The delay was not a sign of denial. It was a divine strategy to mature you, to prepare your heart, the weight of what you prayed for. God does not rush what He designs, He perfects it. When He takes time, it's because He is building something that will last. You are being refined in the waiting, your patience stretched, your trust deepened, and your roots made firm, so that when the release comes, it cannot be taken away by circumstance or shaken by doubt. There were days you felt forgotten, moments you wondered if God had overlooked your prayers, but what you didn't see was that heaven was still working behind the scenes. The scenes, God was aligning people, opportunities, and environments to fit perfectly into your destiny. Sometimes He delays because the environment around you isn't yet ready to receive what He's about to pour out. He doesn't just prepare you, He prepares the stage, the connections, the timing, and the atmosphere. If He released your blessing too soon, you would have been surrounded by people who couldn't handle your growth. But He hid you in the delay, protecting you from environments that couldn't sustain your anointing. That waiting season was not empty. It was full of divine construction. The foundation was being laid, the resources gathered, the unseen doors carved out, so that when the moment of release arrives, everything aligns effortlessly. The delay also served to reveal what was temporary and what was eternal in your life. God allowed certain things to fade away, not because He was taking from you, but because He was clearing space for what truly belongs to you. The longer the delay, the greater the preparation. You were being stripped of dependence on what was unstable, so that your confidence would rest in Him alone. He used the stillness to purify your motives, to detach you from distractions, and to prepare your spirit to recognize His movement when it comes. Many people rush ahead of God and end up with blessings they cannot sustain. But you waited, even when it hurt, and that waiting is now becoming your strength. You've been forged in endurance, and what's coming will meet a version of you that is unshakable. The delay has been your teacher. shaping you with lessons that success could never offer. It taught you how to worship without results, how to believe without evidence, and how to remain faithful without applause. It showed you that God's silence doesn't mean His absence. Every quiet day was filled with invisible progress. Every closed door was a redirect to a divine path. You thought the delay was keeping you from your purpose, but it was actually guiding you toward it. God was not making you wait to frustrate you. He was allowing time to do what speed could never accomplish. True transformation happens in slow seasons, and what God develops in patience, He unveils in power. Now, the release that's coming won't just answer prayers. It will redeem the time you thought was lost. You'll understand why the wait was long and why the process was so intense. The magnitude of what's being released requires the maturity that only delay can build. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of surrender has been woven into this divine unveiling. Heaven is about to prove that the waiting was never wasted, that every pause was packed with purpose, and that what comes next will carry the weight of God's glory. Heaven is unlocking doors before the 24th of October, and this is not just a date, it is a divine marker in time where heaven's agenda meets obedience. For months, you felt an invisible stirring, a sense that something greater was being orchestrated beyond what your natural eyes could see. That stirring was not imagination, it was a spiritual signal that the season of waiting is shifting into a season of manifestation. Has been aligning opportunities, preparing hearts, and softening the atmosphere so that when the doors open, you will step through with divine authority. These doors are not ordinary doors of chance or luck. They are heavenly, ordained portals designed to move you into your next level of calling, influence, and provision. Heaven does not open doors randomly. It does so with purpose, precision, and perfect timing. This unlocking will not require force, manipulation, or striving. What used to take years will happen in moments because divine favor moves faster than human effort. The very doors that once resisted, you will now respond to you. because the command has been given from above. God has issued the order for access. People who once ignored your presence will suddenly recognize your value. Projects that seemed stagnant will begin to accelerate. The right connections will emerge, and you will see how every delay was a setup for divine synchronization. Heaven is not only opening one door, but multiple ones. Doors of opportunity, financial release, healing, reconciliation, and spiritual promotion. Each door represents a chapter of destiny that has been sealed until the appointed time. And that time is now. This unlocking is not only external, but also internal. Before God opens physical doors, He unlocks spiritual understanding. He removes the fear, doubt, and hesitation that once kept you standing outside. Many times, though the door was not locked from the outside, it was locked within you by the weight of disappointment and the residue of past pain. But now, God is removing every internal barrier that made you question your worth and readiness. He is reminding you that you are not behind, you are chosen. The same power that is opening opportunities before you is awakening boldness within you. This combination of divine timing and renewed faith is what allows you to walk through these doors without hesitation, or if you will notice, divine confirmation. Notice divine confirmations in small and large ways. A message, a sudden opportunity, a reconnection, or an unexpected favor. These are not random events. They are heavenly signals that the door has turned. You faced in the past season is about to be reversed. God is rewriting outcomes that once seemed final. Contracts that were forgotten will resurface. People who once closed their hearts toward you will become channels of blessing. This is how heaven works. It reverses earthly limitations with one divine decree. When heaven says, open, no force can say, closed. The very hand of God is on the latch of your future, turning it in your favor. Before the 24th of October, you will sense acceleration that cannot be explained logically. Things will begin to unfold faster than you planned because the supernatural has overridden natural timing. You won't need to fight for recognition or force your way into rooms where you belong. Grace will announce you. The doors opening now are the result of prayers you forgot, you prayed, seeds you sowed in tears, and obedience you gave in silence. The spiritual locks are breaking. The atmosphere is shifting, and what was once inaccessible is becoming available. The movement you've been waiting for is already in motion, and heaven is making sure that no power, no delay, and no opposition can stop what God has decided to release in your life. What the enemy used to break you, God is using to build you, and that truth carries the essence of divine transformation. Every storm that tried to destroy your faith was secretly strengthening it. Every betrayal that left you empty was carving space for deeper wisdom. The pain you thought would end you was actually constructing a foundation that nothing can shake. God does not waste battles. He converts them into building blocks for destiny. The very thing that wounded you is being repurposed into a weapon of strength. The enemy thought your tears would drown your purpose. But God saw those same tears as the water that would nourish your growth. You were never being broken to be destroyed. You were being broken to be rebuilt stronger, wiser, and more unshakable than before. The trials you faced were not random attacks. They were strategic trainings. Heaven allowed certain pressures to reveal your spiritual endurance. You discovered faith not in comfort, but in crisis. You learned to pray not because everything was going well, but because you had nowhere else to turn. In those hidden nights of exhaustion and confusion, your spirit was being fortified. God was teaching you how to stand when everything else fell apart. The pain you endured became a classroom for perseverance. It was in the darkness that you learned how to trust the light. The very moments that made you question your strength were the ones proving how much you had been growing. You thought you were breaking down, but in truth, you were breaking through. God has a way of taking what the enemy intends for harm and transforming it into a catalyst for growth. Every time the enemy tried to close a door, God used that closed door to redirect your steps to something greater. Every heartbreak refined your discernment. Every disappointment purified your focus. Every loss uncluttered your life of people and things that could not travel with you into your next season. Nothing the enemy did succeeded in stopping your destiny. It only reshaped it. You became stronger because of the fire, not in spite of it. And now, the scars that once represented pain will soon become evidence of power. You are not defined by what hurt you. You are defined by how God used it to strengthen you. The process of breaking was never punishment. It was divine preparation. God allowed the pressure to stretch you, the silence to humble you, and the delay to deepen your dependence on Him. He was building a resilience in you that no attack could overthrow. The things that once made you cry will one day make you grateful because they revealed how unshakable your faith truly is. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You came out refined with a deeper awareness of your purpose and a clearer understanding of who God is. What you've endured has built endurance, humility, and power within you. The enemy's attack became God's tool, and what was sent to break you has become the very reason you will rise higher. God builds you through brokenness. He constructs something unbreakable. The pain becomes part of the architecture of your faith. The same pressure that cracked your comfort zone also released your anointing. You've been through seasons that others couldn't survive because there was something divine within you that refused to quit. God took the enemy's agenda and rewrote it with purpose. The affliction became an assignment, the wounds became wisdom, and the suffering became the soil where strength took root. What once felt like the end of your story was simply the construction phase of something greater being born. You were being built for territories and blessings that require the kind of strength only forged through fire. Unexpected connections will carry a next level because God often hides destiny inside the divine relationships. Nothing, but you gotta learn the relationships. The people you meet in this season are not ordinary. They are handpicked by heaven to help unlock what has been waiting inside you. Every significant move of God in your life has always been connected to a person, a conversation, or a moment of divine alignment. Sometimes the answer to your prayer doesn't come as a miracle from the sky, but as a person who carries what you need. These connections may not look impressive at first, but they carry spiritual significance. God is sending helpers, mentors, partners, and supporters who see what others overlooked. They will recognize your anointing, honor your process, and stand beside you as your vision comes alive. You've walked through seasons of isolation, wondering why doors wouldn't open and why relationships fell apart. What you didn't realize was that God was making room for the right people to enter. He removed those who were attached to your past so that those assigned to your future could find you. Some people were only meant to be chapters, not the whole story. God intentionally allowed separation so that destiny connections could locate you without interference. The people who are coming into your life now will not compete with your calling, but complement it. They won't drain your energy. They will multiply your purpose. Heaven always arranges divine partnerships in moments of transition. When you are stepping into a new level, God surrounds with those who carry the keys to the next door. These connections will not be forced. You won't have to chase them or manipulate situations to make them happen. They will flow naturally, orchestrated by timing and purpose. You will know they are divine because they will bring peace, clarity, and acceleration. They will understand your vision without needing a long explanation. The conversations will feel familiar, as if you've known each other for years. That's how divine alignment works. It bypasses familiarity and speaks directly to destiny. These individuals will come from unexpected places, people you never imagined being connected with, yet they will hold exactly what you've been praying for. Some will open doors of opportunity, some will provide wisdom, and others will intercede for you when you can't find strength to pray for yourself. They are heaven's reinforcements sent to help you build what God placed in your heart. When God elevates you, He never does it in isolation. Every promotion requires collaboration. Even Jesus had a circle, and so will you. The next level of your assignment demands a different circle, people who can handle the weight of where you're going. You can't take everyone from your past into your future because not everyone has the capacity for your calling. The new connections being formed in your life are strategically positioned to help you move faster, think clearer, and believe bigger. God is aligning you with people who speak the same faith language, who see through the lens of vision instead of limitation. The old circle may have doubted your dream, but the new one will help you bring it to life. These connections are not just about friendship, they are about purpose. The people being sent to you carry what you don't have and need what you carry. Together, you will fulfill assignments that neither of you accomplish alone. There will be divine collaborations that open unexpected doors of favor, increase, and visibility. Don't be surprised when God introduces you to someone who changes everything in one conversation. The connections forming before the 24th are seeds of acceleration. They are reminders that God never intended you to walk into your destiny alone. Every person sent by heaven is a piece of the divine puzzle. And when they come together, what was once scattered in your life begins to make sense. The 24th marks a product torn volatile breakthrough, because God has been orchestrating unseen shifts in the background that are about to manifest before your eyes. Before your eyes. There comes a point in every believer's journey when faith meets fulfillment. And this is that moment. You've carried promises in your spirit for so long that they began to feel like distant dreams. But heaven has been quietly aligning events, people, and timing to bring those promises into the light. This date isn't just another day on the calendar. It represents a divine intersection. What was spoken begins to be seen. The spiritual weight of your prayers, endurance, and obedience has reached its appointed time for release. What has been held back by delay is now being commanded to move forward. The prophetic word that once felt far away is now standing at the door. waiting for your readiness to receive it. Breakthrough doesn't always begin with noise. Sometimes it starts with small signs. The uneasiness you felt lately, the stirring in your heart, the sudden awareness that something new is coming. These are signals that the shift is already taking place. God has been preparing the environment of your life for transformation. Things that no longer serve your purpose are falling away, not because something went wrong, but because something greater is being born. What felt like loss was actually transition. Before every manifestation, there is separation. You may have been pruned, misunderstood, or even isolated, but all of it was necessary to make room for the new. The 24th is not the beginning of the miracle. It's the revealing of it. What heaven started long ago is about to surface in undeniable form. This turning point will be marked by clarity. Where there was confusion, peace will settle. Where doors remained closed, favor will unlock them. God is not only changing circumstances, He's changing perception. You will see things differently, move differently, and believe differently. The spiritual fog that tried to cloud your vision is lifting, and you'll begin to understand why certain things didn't make sense before. The pieces of your journey will start to fit together like a divine puzzle, forming a picture of grace and purpose. God has been preparing you for this moment so that when the breakthrough comes, you'll recognize it and walk boldly into it. You will no longer question whether He's working. You will see the evidence of His hand everywhere around you. Before every visible breakthrough, there's a final test of faith. You may have felt that pressure recently, the sense of being stretched, the emotional exhaustion, the feeling that you've reached the limit. But that intensity is a sign that birth is near. You're not being crushed. You're being delivered. The pressure is producing purpose, and the pain is pushing forth what has been promised. Every tear, every prayer, and every night of endurance has been leading to this. Heaven's timeline has reached your name, and divine acceleration is about to overtake delay. What you thought would take years will unfold swiftly. Because when God moves, He redeems time. You are stepping into a divine window of manifestation, and once it opens, it will not close until every promise has been fulfilled. The 24th will not just be a date you remember. It will be a marker of transformation, a line between what was and what will be. You will look back on this moment and recognize it as the day the tide turned in your favor. The spiritual weight you've carried is about to lift, replaced by the joy of answered prayers and fulfilled promises. What once felt heavy will now feel holy. What once felt delayed will now feel delivered. Heaven has declared movement, and your life will reflect it. The prophetic turning point is here, and the evidence will be undeniable. Stay expectant, stay faithful, and keep your heart open, because this is the moment heaven has been preparing you for. Your breakthrough is not coming. It's here, and it carries your name.